It's Hearts Standard. I'm Craig Cairns, that's Joel Sked, and we have just watched the third game in 8 days Hearts have played. Still unbeaten. This one was a draw. What were your thoughts overall there, Joel?
I've probably kind of just steal something that Neil Critchley said, and it's probably mixed emotions. I thought there were ultimately disappointment or frustration that Hearts didn't come away with a win. Not in terms of how the game panned out, because as the game panned out, very happy with the draw. But as the game like going in and seeing how I thought poor Hibs were. I mean, Hearts were poor. Let's face that. But Hibs were really poor. They were really fragile. They were really. You could see that they were a team lacking in confidence, and you've seen that with the way we started. Where Hearts dominated the ball, had so much of possession, but didn't really do too much with it. And then Hibs just seemed quite nervous, both in and out of possession, especially with the ball. That there was a lot of times where they just thumped it clear. And this went on in the second half. There was a moment in the first half that I think I must have been right and might have been just after the interval. And you burst out laughing, and it was Lewis Miller was leading a counter attack. Hearts had lost possession high up the pitch, and they had a good moment to counter, and he just passed it straight up the pitch. And I thought that moment probably summed up the quality of the game. It's a really poor quality game, but I think you're standing here happy with the point, and over kind of looking longer term, if you're coming into the week when Neil Critchley got appointed, see if you got 2 wins and a draw from it, I think everyone accepted it, everyone had taken it.
They would have changed one of the draws to one of the other games, I think, but they would have taken that.
Perhaps. But I think the kind of the end product you have to be positive about and considering. I think that's probably something I didn't really appreciate when watching it, or when we're doing our analysis, is that it was Hearts' third game in 8 days. Kind of tired legs, and you're just like, right, just get through it. Big positive was the fact that you're looking at the way the team have been responding to situations earlier in the season. If Hearts fell 1-0 behind, that would have finished 1-0 Hibs or 2-0 Hibs. Whereas go back to the Ross County game, Shankland scored late, Dino Wominsk, Danda scored late, and then today James Wilson scores late, and just eking out results.
Should say, when I said unbeaten at the start, I clearly meant under the new manager. We're far from unbeaten for this season. But so picking up on something that you had said there, I mean, I'm slightly egotistical, so I like it when a manager comes in and repeats something that you've just written in your report. And then one of the things I said, that Hearts were very good right up until the final third, and then they just lacked the final pass, invariably almost. And to follow on from what you've said, I feel like Hearts were very good at, like I say, getting into areas, getting beyond Hibs. Hibs, after they had been pinned back for the initial period or whatever it was, and they started to get a bit of the ball, like you said, like you were, I know you used an example from the second half, but they just really struggled to get the ball into forward areas and to keep the ball into forward areas. And it was like Hearts played quite an aggressive formation to begin with, and it looked like they were just happy to sort of take that risk and know that Hibs didn't have a huge amount, or at least recent history would suggest they've not got a lot to hurt you with.
Yeah, and I'll admit I was actually a wee bit more apprehensive when I seen the two lineups. I was hoping to see Alan Forrest, and I do think, look, in hindsight, that was a mistake, maybe not starting him and starting Danda instead. There was
a few times when, because you said the preview video with Scott, you had said that he would bring like more intensity and he would kind of fit that fixture more. And while Danda maybe didn't have a bad game, there was 2 or 3 moments where he was on his heels or he was waiting for the ball to come to him, and it's not that kind of game.
I think it's a type of game, like it's not the type of game I don't think you can get away with both Spill and Danda playing in the roles in the situation we ended up playing. But that was a disappointment. Benny not playing Benny still being ill was disappointing as well. So you kind of did go back to this St Mirren setup, and it's, you're just looking at that first, that the way we started it was sometimes just a wee bit tame and slow. It's like dominating possession, and some of it was like really confident in the way they're knocking about the ball, but you just want to think, right, Hibs, you can tell Hibs are a wee bit edgy, just play with a bit more purpose, play with a bit more aggression, and kind of ask questions of them, because you see if Hearts scored in that first 10-15 minutes, I think they would have folded like a deck of cards, just because you felt that uneasiness, and it translated to the crowd, and it then translated back to the players. Like Triantis was just hacking away at the ball. When I seen Hibs line up, I thought, Boyle is a threat with his pace, Yuan's a threat with his pace, and like Hoylett and Gale are no slouches either, but they never really seemed to get much chance, just because Hearts had control of possession and control of territory. But it just seemed to, rather than Hearts just putting their foot down, or you know what, just kind of stepping up, they went the opposite way and just kind of stepped off rather than stepped on.
Yeah, because as we were saying there, I mean, to follow in from my own point about Hibs not being able to beat Hearts' presses as well as Hearts were beating Hibs', ironically, Hibs still created the more clear-cut chances throughout the game, including in the first half. They had very little of the ball compared to Hearts, but they had the ball cleared off the line. Some of them saying that was going wide, but still, it was like a heart and mouth moment for Hearts. And then Dwight Gales had two, maybe three headers that he should have done better with. He should have either side of the keeper, and it's probably a goal. Especially that one at the start of the second half. And Hibs actually had a bit of momentum. It took Hearts a wee while to get into the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hibs did let Hearts off the kind of off the hook. Yeah, let them off the hook a few times, just with how good chances they had. We talked about it in the build-up, Scott and I, about the set pieces. Hibs have been a threat this season from set pieces, just because they've got a big squad. Dwight Gale's not the biggest, but he was still getting. We see it with the goal they scored, that they did get joy from that. And Hearts this season have struggled from set pieces. It's been a wee bit better recently, but you just know in games like the derby, where set pieces can be so crucial, when especially in a game where two teams have been so poor. And again, Craig Gordon, we might come on to talk about the goal for Hibs, but he's had to make he's not really had to make many saves. The saves have been made for him because of poor finish from Hibs. But on the flip side, Bursic didn't have little to do, and just thinking, this is a keeper who's really low on confidence, had a shocker at Tannadice, and you could see when Hearts did try and put the ball on top of him, he wasn't really confident with it. He just didn't have the presence of a Craig Gordon, but just never really tested them enough to get enough shots away or on target.
It was disappointing from that.
That was frustrating.
Definitely disappointing. Actually was going to come on to the goal next. Very avoidable. Both you talked about set pieces being important. Could have probably not even conceded the set piece in the first place. I think Gordon kind of has to take a bit of blame as well. I said it at the time before we even watched the replay, but you can see his sort of ball watch as the ball kind of goes to the back post for Ekpiteta to head it. He's getting dragged over there. I don't know if it's just subconscious or whatever, but he's kind of dragged over a bit. If he stays where he is, he pushes that over the bar, and it's not a concern. But he's stretching. He has to push it onto the bar, and then anything can happen, and it turns into a goal. Yeah.
Critchley talked about cheap goals. We've heard it this season, going back to Naismith, giving up cheap goals. Devlin doesn't really have to make that foul. There's two. I think there's both him and Penrice, I think, were in the corner.
Not really the most dangerous area of the pitch
either. Boyle, just and they kind of let him squirm free, and you concede. And it's just one of those fouls where at the time you're thinking, it doesn't matter, you just deal with it and move on. But then when it actually does cost you, it's very frustrating. Gordon, I think he's right to follow the ball. Obviously, right to follow the ball across the goal, but I think he takes a step forward too much, and then that puts him that leaves him caught under the ball when it does get back in. And even still, I still look at it and think, I don't know if he's if the way he's twisted, he's not able to get a lot of purchase on his jump, because normally I just don't think he got off the ground as much as you'd normally do.
He was sort of leaning back.
Yeah, he was leaning back as well, so I don't think he could get enough momentum off the ground to then touch over the bar. But it was such a sloppy and Gordon-like goal to give away in the derby.
And then the changes started. The changes actually started just before the goal. Kukarevich was one of the changes for Hibs. And I don't know, there was a wee bit of method to it to begin with, I guess, but like sort of George Grant's slightly unfamiliar role up front. And then it became a bit of, we felt he was just going for it. We felt he was at the stage where he made the second double substitution, where it was just, he would rather lose 2-0 than not go for it at all. And I don't know about you, but I was kind of, I didn't see Hearts getting back into it really, and it was another set piece. It was another set piece that did it. I know we're not really here to talk about the Hibs defence, but David Gray was very disappointed with the way his defence reacted to that set piece so late in the game. But the story's really James Wilson. I mean, he's already come on, broke his duck, got his first goal. That's what a special moment for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So before Wilson, just what you were
I
saying
always
about,
miss something that he picks me up on.
It was it was more just when you're talking about. I was just wanting to agree with you on that, because I turned around to you and said, when the changes were made, it's like, this is the feeling of going 2-0 Hibs rather than 1-1.
Yeah, exactly. And they should have. We've brushed over that Triantis missed an absolute sitter to make it 2-0.
Yeah, that's well. And it was when Barry Mackay came on. I was like, because we were looking around, Devlin and Boateng came off.
Who's going in midfield?
Not Barry Mackay again.
Yeah,
it didn't work out against Rangers a couple of years ago. But then the mix around, so you could understand Spittle and Grant.
It made more sense once you saw Grant and Spittle going.
Yeah, and then the goal. Credit to Alan Forrest. I thought he should, like I said, I thought he should have started, but I think he wins the header and box him. And for Wilson, I think it's brilliant movement getting across. So we spoke to him afterwards. It's embargoed stuff, so it's not going out until Monday night or Tuesday. But one thing he did mention, I don't think I'm breaking confidence, is that didn't think it was like he talked about it not being the best goal. I thought it was a really good fit. I need to watch it again.
He said something like, he said I probably wanted it to be a bit better, but I thought it wasn't like, okay, like you can talk about the ugliness of the goal that he scored
against St Mirren,
but
it's like, I think it was a proper
one, he's like nipped in, he's like done what, like it's something like, for instance, it's something John Robertson would be proud of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Getting on the kind of was it blindside, getting across across the defender and then steering at the corner exactly where you wanted to go. And the great thing was, like, for him, he's a Hearts fan, and if I think he thinks he's a Hearts and Man United fan, but it was
kids these days.
But it's like scoring for his boyhood club in front of the Hearts fans at Easter Road to get a really important goal. But then it's the fact that
he doesn't savour it.
He doesn't really celebrate. He goes and gets the ball. It's like, that's a great attitude to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Just go get the ball because he was get the ball because he wants Hearts to get the winner.
Although it wasn't. It was. I mean, there are circumstances where that is valuable, and that's what you want. You want like, there's enough time here, we can keep going. But I think, like, as we've been talking about, given the schedule and like all that kind of stuff, game was maybe still there to be won. There was a couple of chances and stuff, but I think they were kind of like, right, no, we don't need to like absolutely do it. We don't have to like do you know what I mean, risk what we've kind of earned here.
Yeah. But it did feel as soon as Hearts scored, as soon as Wilson scored, just because of the nature of the derby, how the mentality aspect of it as well, when you're looking at, and there's a lot of Hibs fans will admit that there's Hearts fans come into the derby with a different mentality than Hibs fans do, or Hearts treat it differently than Hibs do in terms of seeing Hibs fans see it's like the Hearts treat it as like the World Cup final. It should be treated, that's exactly how it should be treated, and it's just that mentality aspect. So when Hearts scored, I did think if there was a team that was going to win it,
I'd say so as well. Yes, exactly.
And
it's happened before.
Absolutely,
at
Easter Road
happened.
It's happened at Easter Road. It happened at Tynecastle. It happened many times. But I did feel that when the 7 minutes came up, and there was, especially between the 95th and 97th minute, I was expecting Hearts to just get a scrappy goal from a set piece and win it. That wasn't the case, but it was when you, not just a massive goal for Wilson, and not just a massive goal because it's the derby, but a massive goal because if Hearts didn't score that, we'd be talking about a team sitting at the bottom of the league
again, and we're kind
going
of
into a big game at the weekend.
Not quite back,
by Wednesday.
But it's not quite back to square one, is it? But it's just like, well, we feel like we've had all this progress, but then where does that leave us? Like one result, and we're just like back at the bottom again. But I was just going to add that to kind of finish off that psychologically, it's a great goal and result because it keeps the momentum going, it keeps the feel good going, because as I was kind of saying to you after the game there, lucky we didn't get to see it, but it would have been interesting to see what the response would have been to a defeat, because we know that there's some people that aren't happy with the appointment or weren't happy with the appointment. if that ever changes, or if I don't know if people are going to look for the first thing to jump on, and it would have been interesting to see if anybody would have used that. But it's amazing how much just like a long throw in a moment like that can change it all.
Absolutely, and it's like you said, thankfully we don't have to consider that hypothetical of having not scored, but it's massive in terms of just mentality of being able to know that you're not playing well. That's just a good thing. You don't play well, you can still eke out results, and that's going to be really important, because not only we've got a game on Wednesday where against Kilmarnock, then you go and play Saturday, then it's Thursday again, then it's Sunday against Rangers.
And what comes with this is very little time in the training field. So Critchley and the management team deserve a lot of credit for managing to get such a good start with such little time on that. I think they had a few days when he first came in, his first week, but since then it's been rest day, training day, prep for a game basically.
Absolutely. And I was writing about it when it was 1-0. I was writing about the fact that Wednesday was a massive game, because not only because Hearts would have been 3 points adrift, and then you win on Wednesday, and
another team that's low down as well.
Yeah, another team that's down, but you're not. But they're like 4 points ahead, so you're not kind of guaranteed to actually get off the table if you win on Wednesday. So like those two games, Kilmarnock and St Johnstone, would become. They still are really important, because if you look at the schedule, it's Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen, the next 3 games after those two. So it's now getting to the point where I think the last couple of games have given everyone enthusiasm, encouragement that it's going to be, it still could be a really good season, and that Hearts are not going to be involved in a relegation battle. But you still need to start winning games, putting a run together to motor up the table and get away from that danger and actually look, because for example Aberdeen are, I think, 19 points ahead. It's just, I think third at the moment is looking very unrealistic, but fourth is there for the taking. You know, fourth is still acceptable finish considering how we started.
If they rescued it and got fourth,
it'd be very, very credible.
Especially with it looks like they're going to progress in Europe at least to another round as well. So I think all told, if they got into the top 6 and maybe fourth at the end of the season, I think that would be acceptable given how we started the season.
And then hopefully we win the Scottish Cup and deny Aberdeen the European the group stage football.
Long way away that. And just to add, to finish off and just to kind of add something that Critchley said afterwards as well, we're still very early in this new regime at Hearts. So, and
I think also it's important that I think one of the guys asked him. I think looking longer term, or looking bigger picture. Sorry, that this is probably a game that will help him find out. We'll probably learn a wee bit more about the players and about the team. So I think that's a positive.
Excellent. Well, we'll leave it there. I am really needing to get home to my bed. I won't give you all the details, but please make sure to check out everything at heartstandard.co.uk. Please share this, please like it, subscribe if you haven't already. All those things really help us. And yeah, we'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.